Why are most people average, pathetic, and live boring lives? My life is very predictable, predictably awesome. If you get older, oh, pot belly, dad body. No, bro. Dad bod should not exist. Who the says you have to be realistic like everybody else? They want to be the next Elon Musk and create a rocket that takes people to Mars. You would encourage that. You would inspire that. You would motivate that. You become a piece of shit who will die fat, sick, broke. How dare anybody talk shit on someone who's the worst thing you could have on your deathbed? Hey guys, welcome to the show. We're going to have a really awesome episode here for you today. Why are most people living a life of average, of mediocrity, of just pathetic, boring lives? I'm going to tell you, it's because they compromise. They continuously compromise on their goals and dreams. And I want to give you a story, somewhat funny, but very related to this. So y'all know that one of my businesses, one thing that I do is I coach and consult entrepreneurs. And when I first started coaching and consulting, I don't know, some 18, 19 years ago, this dude in Northern California hired me to coach him in his business. And he's got a big gym, and typically at the time I had just started it, so he was like my second coaching client. And the first coaching client flew out to me, coached him up for 2 days, and then they flew home. And then I would do like some monthly coaching calls to make sure that everything we talked about is sticking and that they're holding themselves accountable to the stuff that we talked about during their meeting in person. But this particular guy in Northern California, he's like, listen, bro, can you just come out to Northern California and visit me? Because I really feel like if you saw my gym, you would be able to help me more. And I was like, well, you know what? Quite honestly, I just started coaching and consulting. I was really excited about building that business. And so I said, tell you what, I'll come out. I compromised on what my strategy was. Instead of him coming to me, I compromised and I said, I will come out. And so I booked a ticket to Northern California, San Jose specifically, and we were going to spend 2 days together in his gym, in his office while his gym is running, and we're going to figure out how to take this gym out of the negative and make it a profitable business that he could then grow and scale to multiple locations, right? Because that's what I do. One of my businesses, Fit Body Boot Camp, we literally have hundreds of locations all around the world, and we continue to grow our franchise brand. And so this cat seemed nice enough. Really cool dude. Showed up prepared on day one. I'm at his gym. We're working, etc., and everything's going well. And then I told him, I said, hey, at the end of the day today, on day one, why don't we go grab a bite to eat? I can get to know you better. Maybe go to a steakhouse. I'm sure there's a nice steakhouse somewhere in San Jose here. And he's like, you know what? I got a better idea. How about I cook you a steak at my house? Like, you come over, I cook you a steak. I was like, oh, cool, man. Your family going to be okay with that? He's like, well, actually, I'm not married. I don't have anyone. I live by myself. I own a nice house. And if you want to come over, I'll grill up some steaks. I really can grill up a hell of a steak. So we kind of ended our coaching day around 4:30, 5 o'clock. The plan was that I would be there by 7:30 to his house. Went to my hotel, decompressed a little bit, and then took my rental car and drove to his house. Got there at 7:30. Man, he opens the door, beautiful home. Everything smells amazing, man. It's just like this amazing house, giant kitchen, like all like chef industrial cooking accoutrements. And homeboy's like grilling up a mean steak and like side of mushrooms and onions and a baked potato. And he's got some leafy greens. I'm like, man, you are amazing at this stuff. And then when we sat down and we ate, he poured some wine and stuff, and the steak was spectacular, right? So, we're shooting the shit. A couple hours go by. It's around 8:30 at this point. Now, closer to 9 o'clock maybe. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to bounce. He's like, no. I've got a surprise for you. I'm like, what do you mean you got a surprise for me? He goes, yeah, I got a surprise for you. I go, I'm thinking like dessert. And he goes, just hang out for a few more minutes. And maybe 9:30 comes around and the bell rings. Ed, have I told you this story before? Bro, this is going to blow you away. The doorbell rings and he goes to the door. Now, this is like before Grubhub and Uber Eats. So it's not like, oh, he just ordered something in, right? He rings the door, and in walks this smoking hot blonde in like this tiny little skirt, has a duffel bag, and he looks at me as she walks in. He looks at her and he looks at me and he smiles and he nods. And I was like, my eyes turned to saucers. I was like, whoa, like it hit me. Like, at first I was like, this has got to be his girlfriend or something. But then he like smiles and nods. I'm like, we're not pulling a train on this chick, right? And I'm like, hey, Brett, who is she? At this point, she went into this other room. He's like, hey, go into that other room and get ready. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so true story, bro, I come home and I tell my wife, and she's like, what the f-? So I'm like, bro, what is going on, man? He says, well, she's someone that I get visited by regularly. She's really good at what she does at her profession. And I thought maybe she could just take care of us tonight. We worked hard all day. I'm like, bro, that is not how I roll. I'm not going to judge you, but that is not how I roll. You do your thing. Have a blast. I'm going to bounce, go to my hotel, and go to sleep. And I'll see you in the morning. Well, the next morning I see him, and homeboy's tired. He's exhausted. He's just pounding one energy drink after another. So clearly this chick rocked his world and kept him awake all night. Like he looked dehydrated. He needed energy. Day 2 did not go well as day 1. I'm going to tell you that right now of coaching him. He was falling asleep, right? But all because I compromised on my core value of how I was going to run my business. And from that day on, I was like, I am going to live a no compromise life. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. The reason most people live a life that's average, that's pathetic, that's mediocre and boring is because you begin to compromise the things that you value, or at least you say you value, right? Think about this. Like, would you ever allow your kids, when they say like, I want to be a firefighter, a police officer, astronaut, whatever, would you ever say like, no, you shouldn't. You should just settle down for a nice little office job that just gets you by? You wouldn't. If they say they want to be the next Elon Musk and create a rocket that takes people to Mars, you would encourage that. You would inspire that. You would motivate that in them. Yet you begin to compromise the goals and dreams that you have. You begin to negotiate them away. And I often wonder to myself why you would do this. You only get one run at life, There is no second run. There is no trial run. If you think this is a trial run, my second time around, I'm really going to go all in. You're not. You're not. This is it. And so if you are here and you've got goals and dreams, why would you ever compromise? Right? See, we did an episode and we talked about rules, routines, and rituals, right? I've got my very strict rules, routines, and rituals. And because of that, I've got an awesome life. My life is very predictable, predictably awesome. And I want that for you. But if you don't have an awesome life, it's probably because you had some goals, you had some dreams, and then you go, yeah, but I got married, but I had kids, bills and stuff. You get older, oh, pot belly, dad body. No, bro. Dad bod should not exist. You compromised, and therefore you allowed yourself to eat shit you emotionally ate. You stopped working out. You prioritized TV or fake busy work, not good work, not productive work, fake busy work, because we can justify anything to procrastinate from working out or making money or pouring into our relationship. Oh man, I would have a date night with my girl, but I work overtime, I work late, I work on my business late. Listen, if I parachuted into your life and I kept track of the real productive work you're doing, I would be shocked if you actually worked more than 3 hours of productive work. I have no doubt that you probably are working, doing busy work, tactically loitering for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours, 13 hours, and you come home tired because, of course, I can get tired from doing non-productive busy work as well. But the reality is you are compromising. If you want better health, if you want to make more money and have financial security, if you want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with your honey, but then you begin to compromise the things that you need to do to get there, and you negotiate them away because, well, I'm tired, because I don't feel like it. It's not realistic to be a millionaire or to be to be that lean at this age. It's not realistic. Who the fuck says you have to be realistic like everybody else? Mediocre people don't want anything other than realistic. I am unrealistic in my expectations. I am relentless in the pursuit of my life's goals. I am rigid and I never compromise. And I'm asking you to do the same, because the worst thing you could have on your deathbed is regret for all the things that you compromised against in life in exchange for a mediocre, average, pathetic, boring life. Think about that. Regret is a byproduct of compromising your goals and dreams in exchange for a boring, pathetic, mediocre, average life. Who the fuck wants that? I don't want that for you, fellas, right? So what do you do then? What do you do to begin to live a no compromise life? And that's what I want for you. Like, I live a no compromise life. The people I surround myself with live a no compromise life. I will fly in to town. Hugo will pick me up from the airport, from LAX. I'll say, Hugo, drop me off at BK Strength, and I will work out there before I go home and see my family and say hello to them. Because I know that if I missed my workout that morning because it was a long travel day, I still have to work out. I will not compromise and say, well, I traveled, there was a long layover, or the plane had to get de-iced 4 times, and so we were on the tarmac for 3 hours, and therefore I can just compromise my workout. Absolutely not. When Hugo picks me up from LAX, he will bring me to BK Strength, and I'll say, bro, you can go home from here. I'll take one of the cars in the garage and go home. And then tomorrow, Shelby or Joan can help bring that car back to BK Strength, because in the back of my gym, I have a garage, and that's where I keep a few cars and then some cars at home. So I share this with you because if you don't compromise in your goals and dreams, you will actually be respected by the people who look up to you. You will be someone that they want to model. You will be a role model human being. But no compromise life starts with killing your soft expectations. And that's the problem. See, we all have certain standards and expectations that we kind of fabricate, that we create for ourselves, right? We have these standards and expectations, like, this is how I want to live my life. But if they are soft expectations, meaning they are pliable, that you are willing to compromise and negotiate them away, when you are late, when you are tired, when things aren't convenient, you will compromise them. When someone wants to talk you out of it, oh, come on, can't you just skip your workout? Come on, can't you just come home early? Come on, can't you just have an extra drink? Come on, can't you just stay awake an extra hour? And if you go yes to that because you are compromising against your core values and character, against your goals and dreams in life, you become a piece of shit who will die with regret. On the flip side, I want to die, and I want you to die when you're old and ripe with these amazing memories. I want you to die with this smile on your face that goes, man, I lived a life of no compromise. I lived a life that I did way more things than anyone would have expected me to do. I achieved so much. I had so many great experiences. I've got such great memories, and I wouldn't change a thing. That's how I want to die, not with regret. That I died fat, or I died sick, or I died broke, or I died without having loving up my family enough. What a pathetic way to go, man. And so when you compromise on those things that matter to you in exchange for something else, you negotiate those dreams, you are making a massive mistake, my friend. Massive mistake. So then what do? We kill soft expectations, number one. Number two, we set high standards of expectations and we make them rigid, as in no compromise life. Third thing we do is that we become unreasonable. Now, I know this is going to shake some people up because everybody around you is like a crop duster, right? If you read my book, Man Up, then you know I talked about crop dusters and fighter jets. Crop dusters are people who they hit the snooze button, they wake up late, they're always in a rush, they're kind of letting their emotions run their life, their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. These are the kind of men who just how they feel determines what they do. They give into their impulses. Those are crop dusters. They always just barely get by. They have this body that you look at them and you're like, bro, you look 10, 15 years older than you really are, right? Those are crop dusters. And then fighter jets are people who are just driven, focused, have consistency, have discipline, live a life of purpose, and are passionate about what they do. They are unreasonable. And I need you to become unreasonable to live a no compromise life. And if you are willing to do that, then you will have an amazing life. Now, I got to tell you this, that it will take way more effort than you think. People will begin to go why are you doing this? This sounds so unreasonable. This seems so rigid. This seems so out of character for who you are. Yes, it is out of character because I'm becoming 2.0, mother. I'm becoming a higher version of myself. I'm becoming the idealized man. I want to become the man that my children look up to and idealize. I want to become a role model. I want to be able to impact and influence and man, inspire people. The 1.0 version of you who's crop duster is not going to do that. It is the fighter jet version of you who will do that. It is the man who does not compromise on his goals and dreams. It is the man who sticks to his core values. It is the man who draws a line in the sand and says, no matter what, I will do these things to become 2.0. And the people around you who decide that they don't jive with that, and I tell you why, they will not jive with it. When you begin to change and you begin to evolve and you become the better version of yourself, what they do is they begin to project their insecurities on you. All these motherfuckers who said that they were your friends, that they're your homies, that they're your buds, they're your coworkers, happy hour, this and that. The moment you're like, sorry guys, I'm not doing happy hour. In fact, I'm going to leave work and go and work out. They're going to be like, they're going to start talking. Oh, look at you all healthy. Look at you. You're going to have abs. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to have abs. Guess what? Go look at you. You're going to have titties. You're going to have diabetes. You're going to die of cancer. You're going to have anxiety and depression because you're such a piece of that you degenerate mother. Right? How dare anybody talk shit on someone who is trying to level up in their life, in their marriage, as a father, in their personal income, in their health, in their mindset? How dare they? That society has gotten to a place that when you try and better yourself, that they will fucking throw shade on you. I believe that you have the right to throw shade right back. And you just slap their fucking gelatinous little titties and go, look at this. I could fucking milk you, bro. I could milk your little titties. So I'm going to go to the gym and build some fucking pecs while you go and drink booze and pump out estrogen. Now, listen, man, I'm not trying to say you ought to be that level of an asshole. I can be that level of an asshole because I am, and I'm passionate and I give a shit. And if you want to, you should. But I am saying be unreasonable in your expectations. I don't take shit from anyone. I don't want you to take shit from anyone like that. Because you only live one life, right? But I'm telling you right now, guys, it is going to be more difficult than you think because people are going to throw shade. People are going to talk shit. Your limiting beliefs are going to try and talk shit on you. Like your version 1.0 of yourself, your inner critic, your inner bitch, that bitch voice that we all have at the project, we call it the inner bitch and the inner beast, which is the critic and the advocate, right? Your beast is your advocate and your inner bitch is your critic. Your 1.0 version is going to try and negotiate with your 2.0 version and say, no, don't evolve, don't grow, don't change, go back to the loser that you were. Just have another drink, watch TV for another hour, eat that fucking ding dong, and then chase it down with a Twinkie. Sick motherfucker. So I'm here to tell you that it will take longer. It will be more difficult. It will require more effort on your part. But you know what I can tell you about that? When you do the hard things, you will have a happy and easy life. But if you constantly choose to take the path of easy and negotiate and compromise, you will have a hard life that ends with regret. So I'm here to tell you that if you live a no compromise life, if you become unreasonable in your expectations, find a group of fighter jets to belong to and no more fucking crop dusters, you will become the 2.0 that you deserve to become and that your family deserves to have as a leader. So gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of the Bedros Keuilian Show. And always remember that average is the enemy. Success is your duty. And life can switch to the 2.0 version when you are ready to flip that switch. Talk soon, guys. Peace out.
Bedros Keuilian discusses how compromising on goals and dreams leads to a mediocre life. He shares a story about a coaching client in Northern California who invited him over for dinner and surprised him with a visit from a woman. Keuilian explains how compromising on his coaching strategy affected his business values. This experience led him to commit to a no-compromise life. Bedros emphasizes that compromising on one's goals and dreams leads to a mediocre and boring life. He contrasts how parents encourage their children to dream big, but then compromise on their own aspirations as they age. Keuilian advocates for living a no-compromise life, where rules, routines, and rituals are strictly adhered to. He criticizes excuses like being too tired or too old, urging listeners to reject mediocrity. Keuilian shares personal examples of how he prioritizes health, wealth, and relationships without compromise, encouraging others to do the same to avoid regret on their deathbeds. He concludes by emphasizing the importance of killing soft expectations to achieve a no-compromise life. Bedros Keuilian stresses the importance of maintaining high standards and expectations in life without compromise. He warns against soft expectations that can be easily negotiated away, leading to a life filled with regret. Keuilian advocates for living a life of no compromise, setting rigid standards, and being unreasonable in pursuit of one's goals and dreams. He encourages listeners to become the best version of themselves, even in the face of criticism and adversity. Keuilian emphasizes that while the journey may be difficult, the rewards of living a no-compromise life far outweigh the challenges. He concludes by urging listeners to surround themselves with like-minded individuals and embrace the 2.0 version of themselves for a fulfilling and successful life.